I don't know where to start. The Detroit Lions had one of the most insane victories in NFL history. I mean, they just did. They're down 23-7 at halftime on the road against a legitimate Super Bowl contender in the Houston Texans. You know, they're getting outmanned physically on both sides of the ball. And then they find a way to win that game 26-23. The Texans score 0 in the second half. It was the most odd game I have ever watched. And I think the closest to that probably would be last year when the Bears were up against the Lions in the fourth quarter and the Lions found a way to win that game. But here's the difference. That's the Chicago Bears. That was with Justin Fields. They weren't a contender. The Lions found a way to come back against a team they were better than. This Texans team, they are a good team, a very good team, a contender. And the Lions still found a way to win. It was the tale of two halves. The first half being an absolute ass whooping on the Houston Texans' part, just giving it to the Lions at home. And then the second half, the Lions gave it to the Houston Texans on the road. And you saw, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, look at this. Teams to win when trailing, or when throwing, 5 interceptions and trailing by 15 plus points. The Lions did it in 2024 against Houston with a 16-point deficit, like I said, 7-23. It hasn't happened since 1970 when the Baltimore Colts did it against the Chicago Bears, and they were down 17 through 5 picks and found a way to win. Teams that have those same odds, like the 5 picks and trailing by 15 plus points, were 373-1 since 1933. It just does not happen. It does not happen. I mean, even the saying, oh, win the turnover battle and you win the game, was completely thrown out the window. And we had the discussion on our watch party at the halftime about what defines a legitimate NFL contender. And the biggest thing I brought up was, man, they cannot look like this in the second half. The Chiefs, who we often compare the Lions to right now, who are currently undefeated, find ways to win games, even if they're down 17-3 against the Broncos. They just find ways to win. The Lions have been putting the beat down on NFL teams this season, and they're faced with adversity here against the Houston Texans. Although they've lost a prior game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this was different. I'm sitting here going, you know, if they're a legitimate contender, find a way to make this a game. And boy, did they. Not only make it a game, but win that game. And honestly, Jake Bates, I can't believe this man came to Detroit. He's perfect on the year. He's hitting these clutch kicks, a 58-yarder, 50-plus yarder to win the game. Dan Campbell has shown complete trust in him. This is a full, complete team. Offensively, we know how explosive they are. We know they're one of the best, if not the best offense in the National Football League. They're explosive. They have weapons everywhere. They have the best backfield. They were without their starting left tackle. And although they were struggling to run the ball, Jahmyr Gibbs shows up late. And he has these 20-yard gains, these explosive run plays that kind of get the Lions going offensively. Oh, and then the defense holds the Texans to 0 points in the second half. I mean, I don't care who they're facing. Holding a team to 0 points in the second half is ridiculous. It could have been the Patriots. It would still be impressive. They did it against the Houston Texans. Yes, I understand they were without Nico Collins, but it's still CJ Stroud. It's still an offense that put up 23 points against you in the first half, and they shut them out in the second. The offense gets going. Jake Bates hits clutch kicks, and they find a way to win. To me, that win last night defines a true NFL contender, a team that can win anywhere at any point. Even if they're down multiple scores, they are still a threat to win that football game. I don't know if there's any team besides the Chiefs or Lions that would have won a game like that. I just don't. Those are the two teams right now. They are in their own class in the NFL. No other team would have found a way to win that football game. I mean, especially a team that's done it essentially 2 big comebacks in 2 years, being down one in the fourth quarter, but one at halftime. Like they just dig deep. It's credit to Dan Campbell. It's credit to the way these guys are coached. Oh, and they did it with all the injuries. They had injuries popping up during the game, guys leaving the game with injury. Sam Laporta left with an injury. You had Taylor Decker out. You had Aleem McNeil banged up. You had Jameson Williams banged up. I mean, these guys, it didn't matter. They just were the better team, and they showed that on the road in that environment. I mean, in Houston, that crowd was electric out there. You saw how loud they got in the first half. They quieted down in the second half. And the Lions getting this win, to me, guys, is significant. It further proves that not only are they the best team in football, they're in their own class with the Chiefs. They are in that class, two teams to me, and then everyone else follows. Those two teams are a threat at any point of a football game, no matter how much they're down. Like, I still can't believe this happened. I can't believe it, man. I mean, seriously, in every team in this situation needs some luck, right? Like the Jake Bates, he was inches away from missing both of those kicks. They fall through. It's beautiful. Dan Campbell shows trust in Jake Bates to nail those kicks, and he does it. I mean, and this is with Goff, by the way, and I was going to get to it. The 5 interceptions, which, the first 2 were tipped passes. It was a tough spot to be in for him. And then the third one was a Hail Mary before halftime. But the 2 in the second half, guys, like, this is what makes it even more crazier. He throws 2 pretty bad picks in the second half, and still they find ways to win. And Goff still makes these incredible plays. He made a great play to Sam Laporta. I mean, Laporta made the play, but Goff got him the football. He's still pushing the ball downfield. And although Goff did not have a good game in totality, the offense, the run game, the old line, the defensive line, they got much more physical in the second half. First half, the Lions lost the battle in the trenches. The second half, they dominated the trenches, which is what their identity is. They're a team that can win anywhere. So despite Goff not having a great game, they still found ways to win, which to me further proves how good of a team they are. They don't have to, all get on Goff's shoulders and say, take us to victory. They can win in other ways. Defensively shut out a team in the second half. Jahmyr Gibbs shows up and makes plays. Amon-Ra grabs a clutch third down catch. I mean, all these plays, they come together to form an incredible comeback victory, something that hasn't happened since the 70s. I mean, we're talking about 50 years, guys. This is an incredible team. And you guys should be excited you're along for the journey. Like, I know Hutch is out, but, man, you couldn't tell in the second half. I mean, they're getting consistent pressure. And although Hutch would make a massive difference, they're going to get Zadarius Smith this week against the Jags. Like, you know how much confidence this does? How much confidence it gives a team in what it does for them moving into next week against the Jags? They might win by 40 this week. It's like, if we can win that game, we can win any game at any point. And they should feel that way. It's incredible. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we're going to talk about it tonight on our show live, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So be there. And everyone who came out to the event yesterday at Tin Roof, we appreciate you. We're going to try and be back there. So if you couldn't make the event, come back next time. We will be there as well. I'm Jeff Iafrate. Continue to support, like the video, comment, leave your thoughts on the game, how historic it was, and subscribe. Until tonight, I will catch you all. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.